I wonder if life has gotten easier. If you go back through different time periods in history and you think about people and what they had to do each day, there's varying degrees of difficulty, right? For most of history, there are only a few people who hoarded all of the wealth and everyone else was just in poverty. But I wonder if day to day was easier then than it is now. I guess for a long time, you only had one real task, and that was not dying. And in that pursuit of not dying, you had to find some food. You had to try to take care of the kids that were with you. And then you had a lot of free time. Food was different. Food was more pure. For all of history, until like the 40s or 50s, there were no real preservatives. There was no high fructose corn syrup. What you ate grew in the ground or fell off a tree or walked around in a field eating what grew in the ground. There were no serious distractions. You didn't have phones. You didn't have the internet. You couldn't really go anywhere. That's wild, man. Wherever you were born is where you're probably going to live your entire life. And if somebody did travel somewhere, you were never going to see them again. You think of being a person in the Roman Empire. Once you secured your food for the day, what did you do? If you were around at any point between the time of Jesus being alive and the Black Plague, what did you do? I mean, don't get me wrong, it must have been terrifying. It just seems more physical. Your stress was a different type of stress. Either you were going somewhere with intent of conquering and killing people, or you're laying in bed in the middle of the night thinking about people coming in to kill you. If you get sick, no one's gonna know what to do. The doctors didn't know shit. And if you made it past 10 years old, you were lucky. All of human existence has been the battle to stay alive. Everything's trying to kill you. And we were just sitting around chilling, eating food, making babies. No one really knew how to read, and books were rare and hand-printed until the printing press in like mid-1400s. People must have been so simple. And then we got smarter, and everything got more complicated. Now you got to make sure you got the right beans to brew for your coffee in the morning before you fire off a couple emails, take the kids to school, and figure out how you're going to pay that loan back to the bank that you took out so you could buy a house. Things got easier some ways, but they also got a lot harder. You got to worry about if you're getting enough exercise because your job is sitting at a desk for 9 hours a day. We have the most calorie-dense food options in the history of man that you don't have to go find, and they're extremely addictive. Society keeps trying to make things easier, and for some people, it just gets harder. And because everything's centered around money and profit, there's this underlying desire to get you to pay to make yourself sick and then pay for the cure. And we've been really good at eradicating certain diseases, but we've also created a ton more. But maybe that's just part of evolution. Maybe that's just part of getting to the next step. Maybe that's what it's been all along. It's just a journey to erasing ourselves. Biological creatures becoming digital beings. They say that ignorance is bliss, and that's what makes me think maybe people were happier before all of this. Maybe they were happier when they didn't have 1,000 world events happening at the same time that they could read about. Maybe they were happier when they didn't have to finish that Excel spreadsheet by 4 p.m. Maybe there was that threat somebody's going to blast in with a sword and chop your head off, but at least you didn't have to sit in rush hour traffic. What do you think?